Hello and welcome back to Seagulls Social, Season 3, Episode 12. I'm joined by Maz and Ryan. Oh no, wait. Maz isn't here. God. He only comes when we're winning. He only comes on when we're winning. He was like, look boys, I can't face the music. I don't want to talk about how the XG curse is back. So, but Ryan's shown his face. Yeah, he's actually... Fucking no, he's a Barcelona fan, actually.
Barcelona,
if you know, you know. Ryan, how are you? You unfortunately went to the game. I feel sorry for you because how frustrating. It was frustrating watching it on Prime, but it was must have been more frustrating in the stadium.
Yeah, it's just like going back to 2021 again. And I thought I'd wear the appropriate top because this top, if you remember, if you watched the pod last season, no, season before, then you'll remember this was the top that I wore pretty much every podcast throughout that terrible year of like XG. So why not just bring it back out for the memories and just reminisce on the... I don't even know how to explain it because the thing is, we haven't even been bad. Like, I can't come on here and be like, you know, shocking tactics, like we were really awful. We literally had 70% possession again, 19 odd shots, 7 on target, missed some pretty should have been goals. I don't even know how to even drum up this podcast. It brought back
feelings. It brought back feelings that I thought I'd left back in 2021 season. Like, it genuinely, like, I went upstairs and like just felt so frustrated and just frustrated pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, how have we not come away with 3 points there? All those chances, what was it? The crazy stat for the past 3 games: 54 shots on goal, 18 on target, 0 goals. What was I can't remember what the XG was exactly. 18 on target,
I didn't realise that. That's mad.
Yeah, 18 on target out of the 54 shots and 0 goals to show for it. Like that, those are the stats that we were hearing back in like 2 seasons ago, and it's horrible for it to come back. And I really hope it's not going to be. Well, I really hope the XG curse isn't back. Because we were progressing so well under Potter, and I thought Zerbi, and I still think he will. I still think Zerbi will progress us because we play similar football still. It's just the lack of goals are back, and the XG is back to haunt us.
Put a good spin on it though, Ben. Like, one thing I did like, and I was looking at it yesterday, was the fact that Lallana, Sanchez, etc. put really like inspiring things on their Instagram at least. So they were saying, you know, you've got to stick with us. I know it's frustrating, but you know, trust the process, all that sort of thing. Cliche, but
trust.
It's like, you know, you need to, you just have to, because you can see the what he's trying to do. You can see Zerbi, and I understand Zerbi must be frustrated as well, right? He's come from having some lethal strikers. I think he said it was an Odds Bible.
The quote, so it's the quote from the Athletic, or Sussex Live,
Sussex Live, Sussex Live, and it was like something like, you know, in Sassuolo he had players now to score, and here it's not quite the same. And,
you go here it's different, and I was like, that is perfect.
Here it's different.
Different.
The thing is, I don't even blame him for saying that. Like, I'm glad that he's coming out and saying something, because it's better than him just being quiet and being like, everything's fine, when it clearly 54 shots and no goals is clearly not fine. But yeah, mate, I don't even know how to put a proper positive on this apart from the fact that at least we didn't concede well, right? We didn't concede. Like Forest, mate. That's good. Forest were one of the worst teams I've ever seen. I don't mean
no attempts on goal in the first
patronising or downplaying way, but they were terrible. Literally one of the worst teams I've ever seen in the Prem. But
really, that far,
mate? Honestly, they didn't even do anything. I don't recall them doing anything. Don't recall them doing any decent even passes or passages of play. Like, there was no moments where I was like, Forest are going to score. Like, I was
diving around as well, which I didn't expect from the team.
A newly promoted team spending most of the time on the floor. That refereeing performance was abysmal, by the way. Like, we had like 5 minutes added time, for which could have easily been 10, to be honest, and there's not even an exaggeration. There's literally so much time lost in that second half. Pretty much the same tactics as Brentford, really. Go down, waste as much time as possible, really. And I mean, it frustrates a team like us because they know that we can't score. So to stop us, you have to almost take these cheating tactics, because, you know, it almost minimalises the build-up play for us, because that's what we almost try and do, try and break the lines and try and build up play and make these little darting runs and everything. But if you keep going down and wasting time, we're not going to be able to do that, are we, right? So I guess that's the tactic.
We had more, obviously, because it's a weaker team than Spurs, but we did have more clearer attempts on goal. Like, the one that stands out to me in the first half, Veltman, and I know he's a centre-back, but he's also a footballer that plays with the football, trains with the football for all of his life pretty much. He should know that a one-touch finish, he should know how to control that, even if he's a centre-back.
Yeah.
And like the
I can
fact
give
he
him
just
a
like
bit more.
blazed it over, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like that on target, the power on it, it will cause trouble. It could go in.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that a lot of our attempts would just go over. Like even Pascal in the second half, I remember.
Yeah, that's probably the
swung
worst
a foot
one
at
in
it
my
and just
books.
went flying high like a
Pascal
Marcus
one.
Smith drop goal. Yeah, I was just like,
Mate,
what the fuck?
Even
Mad.
worse was Pascal's one where Welbeck sort of laid it off to him, and he had so much time to hit that sweetly, sort of mishit it, and Henderson tipped it over. And it's just thinking, Pascal Gross so consistently great at striking a ball. Like probably the one player you'd want it to fall to on a volley is probably Gross, because you'd back him to at least get a shot off. Maybe Alexis, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
Alexis maybe, yeah.
the way he just scuffed it, and you just think, oh my god, because. As a professional footballer, I'm not digging out Gross here, by the way. I'm just saying, in general, as a professional footballer, you want that to be at least hitting.
And we've seen he can finish.
Really troubling. Yeah, really troubling.
This season, we've seen he can finish.
Yeah. And, mate, Henderson made some really good saves, to be fair to him. But in the first sort of 10 minutes or so of that game, I really thought, we should be battering them, because they weren't even pressing us. They were just passing it around as if they were just happy to be there. And it was just, I just couldn't believe that we couldn't even score. And it was like, yeah, I just said that Veltman missed, and there's a couple of others, I think, as well. And I just thought, this is going to be it, isn't it? This is just how it's going to go. It's going to be one of them days.
That's
and
what
it was.
Our good friend Ben of the podcast, he said to me before the game, it's like, it's either going to be like a 1-0 difficult game or like a 0-0 frustrating game, or we're going to batter them. And I was like, yeah, that's very true.
Like, mate, I think if we scored one in the first
happened.
10, 20 minutes of those chances, I think we would have just scored a hatful. It's almost like London bus effect. Like, I think if we got one, we would have just got a few.
Yeah, or the 700, if you know.
Yeah, or it was just like, just didn't really happen for us, did it? It was just one of them again. But before we move on
the other end of the field, though, Ryan.
Go on.
I got sent this quite good stat. So it's like only Everton, 185, have conceded more shots on goal than Spurs this season. So they're on the other end of that table. Right. So Spurs have conceded 173 shots, but we've only conceded 92.
Okay.
And the only two teams that have conceded less than us is Arsenal on 81 and City on 69.
That's impressive.
So and obviously that's a lot of that's under Graham Potter as well, but still defensively we are pretty sound. Especially against Forest. Maybe that's just because they are horrendous in attack.
This is another thing. Like people were saying, defensively under the Zerbi we could struggle, but I haven't really seen that, apart from like maybe Webster had a bit of a shaky moment. But the things we did against Brentford, we really shot ourselves in the foot with, to be honest. I mean, Webster should never have really let Ivan Toney get that off, to be honest. And obviously it's gone under Sanchez as well. And the second
that's
goal,
a moment
Veltman
of quality that you can't really deal with.
You can't deal with it, I suppose. Yeah.
Veltman was in our own
was just silly. And then Liverpool quality, to be honest. Firmino, people can point fingers at Dunk or whatever, whoever it was that got done that day. But end of the day, Firmino was just on.
Liverpool score goals, no matter how shit they are.
Yeah, I mean the Sanchez mistake was pretty bad, but overall, overall was again there was nothing there that was like really alarming. I was like, oh my god, we're in for a really torrid time. So I think that was a bit of a lazy
Spurs.
hit.
It was only like Harry Kane came off his shoulder, pretty
it was a very
goal to concede.
jammy goal. Should have probably been picked up better, to be fair, defensive perspective. But again, overall, we haven't been bad, and so we minimalised Tottenham defensively. They didn't. To be fair, they didn't really do anything. But again, we don't look terrible. We don't look. People are really the boos at half the full time. I didn't get that. It really annoyed me. I think people.
Yeah, the commentator said that. I didn't hear them on the TV.
It was loud.
The commentator
was loud.
I
was in the West.
Really?
It was loud. And I don't know if people were aiming it at the ref. I think a lot of people were, but I'm sure that there's going to be some people there that are aiming it at the Zerbi, which is just crazy to me. Because I saw people comparing him to Hippier on Twitter and stuff, and I just thought, can I even be bothered with this right now? I was getting so much abuse on social, and I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to tweet, say everyone have a good evening, and leave it for the night, because I just couldn't even be bothered with it.
That's not De Zerbi's fault. You can boo the players, I guess. If you pay for a ticket, you can do whatever you want. But I suppose I guess you can boo the players because they didn't finish the chances, which is what they get paid to do. But I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't do it personally.
Yeah.
I would definitely not do it personally. And you can't blame De Zerbi for what we saw on the pitch. It's what we used to say when every time this would happen under Potter, we were like, you can't blame Potter, it's the players. So we can't now change our tune and say it's De Zerbi. You can't do that.
Yeah. And again, as you say, under Potter, his first 4 games, I know he had a much weaker team, but we weren't very good either. I mean, we lost to Southampton 2-0, we lost to Man City 4-0, we drew with West Ham 1-1 in a game we should have won. and I think we beat obviously Watford 3-0. That was our first 4 games under Potter in the Prem. And yes, again, much weaker team, but arguably the performances are still as good as. And I saw like certain different people, digging out certain players, saying McAllister's not as good as he was. Again, I didn't understand that. I didn't think that McAllister was bad. I thought that overall we looked pretty good. There was only a few moments where I thought this is a bit slow. Maybe was the only criticism that, because at the end of the day, right, we didn't win. So I guess the manager should take some criticism because that's how football works. But maybe the only criticism I'd say is maybe it was too slow. And I think at times perhaps we could have brought on maybe a Sarmiento, maybe an Enciso, maybe Lamptey a bit sooner, maybe Undav a bit sooner, which I still find a bit strange.
Well, yeah, we need to talk about Undav, I think.
Just inject a bit of energy in there. And I don't know. I didn't really... Maybe that was one criticism, but then maybe, these aren't De Zerbi's players at the end of the day, right? So maybe he just doesn't rate them. And it's almost a thing of, I don't want to use these players because I don't think they're going to be any better than what we've got.
Well, I don't think he rates our attackers after what he said on that quote, like we spoke about 5 minutes ago.
There you go. Let's talk about Undav.
Do you think, but just quickly, do you think that quote and De Zerbi's frustrations in front of goal, or for our players that we've got in front of goal, do you think he will push Tony to actually buy him a new striker?
I hope
new managers normally get a couple signings, don't they? Like, it's normally what they talk about when they're coming on. They're like, look, we need to strengthen this position. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So if we're going on the back of history repeating itself with loads of managers when they come on board for teams, surely he's going to get some players in January that he wants specifically. I mean, and one of them must be a striker, surely.
Yeah, and I mean, even Potter, the first thing that... When he came in, he signed Webster, he signed Trossard, he signed Mopé. He wanted those 3, right? That was his big ones he really wanted, and clearly he got them, right? So I think that
he player in each position, isn't it? Pretty much, which is quite.
Yeah, and I think Webster was the ball player that we needed at the time because we weren't used to ball playing. We, do no disrespect to them, but we had like Shane Duffy and stuff at the time, and it was never going to progress us for what Potter wanted to do. Luckily for De Zerbi, he's actually got that at his disposal already. So I think defensively probably won't need too much. As horrible as it is, we probably will need a Mwepu replacement because I think his energy is really missed in that midfield. And yeah, maybe another centre forward. I think that I do agree with the sentiment that Naylor tries to get out on social, but I think that maybe it's coming across really badly. He's been saying about how we don't need a striker because we've got you need to improve the rest of the team. I think is the point he's trying. If that's what I take of what Naylor's saying,
no way. That's the only position that we need to improve on.
This is what I was going to get at for almost a question to you and almost as well the viewers as well. We've got, say, I don't know, goal scoring midfielders are pretty. Alexis maybe, Gross,
Leo. If you consider him a midfielder.
Trossard, maybe if you consider him a midfielder, I don't know. But we don't have many goal-scoring midfielders, to be fair. We don't seem to do much. But then when it comes to up front, I don't really care what you say. And I love Welbeck, and I love what... Well, I say Mopé, but he's gone now. But at the end of the day, the return isn't enough, right? I think he's got 0 goals. Trossard is probably the only player in our team at the moment who's capable of changing the game and scoring. Yeah. And almost the question is, why do we not need another striker if we're not even prepared to give Ferguson a go or Undav a go? Where's
Naylor's logic?
I'm trying to almost work it out on stream here. What am I missing? Because you've got Undav and Ferguson who are meant to be fine because Undav scored 31 goals last year. What's his name? Ferguson was really good in that youth team. I get they don't want to throw him in, but if you don't want to throw him in, why don't we get another centre forward to replace that? The one thing I think that Bloom will probably be held for, or even our recruitment team will be held for, is we didn't replace Mopé when we sold him. And fine, maybe selling Mopé was the right decision, maybe it wasn't, but not replacing him is not the right decision, I think. And I think I don't know about you, Ben, but in that strike force, as I say, apart from Trossard, Welbeck's not a goal scorer.
Using the word force as well, it's just that's clutching at straws. It's just you've got 2 options basically. Goals? I wouldn't consider. I know Potter said last year, didn't he? I remember in one of his press conferences he considered Evan Ferguson as a first team striker.
So he signed a new deal, didn't he, Ferguson? Finally, a long-term pro contract.
Whether De Zerbi thinks he's a first team striker, I don't know. I just think I reckon. We're going to get a strike in January. because of the new manager and what he's seen from Welbeck and Undav, or the lack of what he's seen from them too. I just think this World Cup in between the January transfer window.
Not a good time.
No, I'm saying I think it is a great time, because that means we play less games with Welbeck and Undav, and it's basically fast tracks us to January.
Fair,
to get
but then also you've got price ranges change, and obviously if a player
I think
goes
we should have the money to do that. We should have the money to do that.
Okay, Ben. Here's a question then. So overall, I see a lot of, particularly sort of journalists, say that a striker's out of our price range, right, or is not going to be attracted to us. That's 20 goal a season. I don't think anyone's trying to get at a 20 goal a season striker. I think we're trying to get at 10, if I'm honest, because taking Mope out of the team to 10 to 15, right, because 15 including goal contributions, assists, and also creative play, right? You're taking out 15 goals with Mope, in a team that doesn't score a lot. So my question to you is another striker out of our price range, or do you not agree with that?
No, not at all. I think, a 20-goal striker is definitely out of our price range. Any club would love a 20-goal striker. A top 16 or big 16 would like a 20-goal striker. They're hard to find, but like you said perfectly, a Neil Mope replacement that can get us 10 goals or just over that, and a few assists here and there, which maybe Welbeck's not offering, and Undav certainly doesn't look like he's
Welbeck offers the other thing of creating.
His link-up play is great. When we're playing,
but when he's not on it, as much as I like Welbeck, and don't get me wrong, I would never come on here and slate Welbeck or any of our players, to be honest with you, because I like this. I really, really do like this squad. I just think it needs some help, and I think the help comes from, as much as we say about our transfer business, at the end of the day, getting rid of Mope and not replacing him has really cost us, I think, and. I thought, I don't know why, I just think that it was so obvious at the beginning, but people didn't see it because we were winning. And I thought, as soon as Welbeck gets injured, we're going to be having this conversation. But
he hasn't even got injured, and we're still having this conversation, And, maybe they were banking on Undav being better than he is. And I guess, I still think it's probably too early to judge on him. It's unfair to judge in the amount of minutes he's had. And the games,
I don't like the standard towards him, if I'm honest, Ben. I think that the thing with Undav is, we haven't seen enough of him to judge him. And that's almost my frustration, maybe, with the Zerbi and Potter included, was why don't we get to see him before 85 minutes, or he's not even going to get a chance? I'd like to see him at least at 70, just to be able to have him 20 minutes. And I know he had 20 minutes at Brentford and he didn't do anything, fair enough. But I think, in a game like Forest, where they weren't actually going to do anything and they were happy to just sit on it and get a draw, and they celebrated that draw like it was like, and
they did. They went that the fans were going mental for that draw, weren't they?
They celebrated.
I guess for them,
they won the Champions
for them,
League.
It's a big point. To be fair, I'm not going to be I'm not going to do celebration police, but I get it. For them, it's a big point on the road, isn't it?
Fair.
And they defended well. You can say we were awful in attack, but they defended well. Henderson had a great game, and that's something to cheer about for them, I guess.
Yeah, no, fair. I'll give respect to Forest for that.
It's classic that he turns up and gets a clean sheet against us. Like you said, Dr. Brighton in the last.
We said that, didn't we, last time?
A few days ago.
Yeah.
You said we're Dr. Brighton, and we actually were for them. They got a clean sheet. Yeah. So it's fucking typical.
I just want to know, Ben, about Undav for you. Do you think that it's almost time to... no point throwing him on Man City, is there? Because what's that going to do for his confidence? But I think, is it almost time after City? Chelsea's going to be like... I'd like to hope, and what I really want the fans behind it. And as much as people want to be frustrated at the Zerbi, which I see people calling him the Zebra, see people intentionally calling him the wrong name, which is crazy. But my point is, if...
Actually, no, to be fair, my phone auto corrects and always puts Zebra.
Does it? Okay, fair.
So it might be that they're doing like a classic football Twitter slander, or they just
I think it is slander, if I'm honest. But my point is, against Chelsea, if you are this frustrated, there's nothing, and I don't mean this in a non-moving on way. I think people were missing my point when I said this. If you are frustrated, there's only one group of people you can take your frustrations out on, and it's the people that have caused this. So now we're in an unprecedented rebuilding period that we don't want to be in. And no one saw us being in reasonably by now, to be in a situation where we were flying. We then lost all of our staff, and we've now got to trust a new man, which I do have trust in him, to rebuild again. So we have gone back 2 years, essentially. So people need to remember, we can't be like we were 2 months ago under Potter, because it ain't going to happen. So people need to get that out of their heads that it's going to happen, because it ain't going to happen.
That's a hard reality to face, I guess.
It's a hard reality. But I think that people are almost in their own little bubble of, it's fine, we're always going to bounce back okay. We can't. We've lost 6-7 staff, including a world-class manager, including the world-class goalkeeping coach, including Bruno, a club legend. We've lost a big core in our club. So now you've almost got to think, right, we need to restart again. Like using TSR. I've had to restart my whole career in the last 2 months. Ironically, at the same time. You can't just go back to how you were. You have to start again. And that's what moving on is. So when I'm putting on these things about it and I'm saying, and people are saying, move on, you're stuck in this, with Potter. No, you're missing my point. My point is the damage is already done. So you can't move on. Part of moving on is rebuilding that damage done. And you can't rebuild that damage done without bringing up the past. So you have to, if you're going to be angry and you want to be angry at Zerbi or the coaching staff or the way we're playing, don't be angry at him. Be angry at the bloke that's in Cobham, because it ain't this lot. I'm telling you. So, back this lot, forget them because they've gone. We're not going to be like them anymore. We have to start again. And I really hope that Chelsea...
I don't think a lot of people probably realise that we have taken a massive step back. And we're not saying a rebuilding on the pitch. It's a rebuilding as a staff. Like, we are essentially like a brand new club in the way we're run in terms of the coaching staff, for sure. So the players have got to adapt to that. And yes, the football's familiar and very similar, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the exact same results, I guess.
Yeah, and at the same time, you can be thankful. You can say, fair play to what Potter did for us in his time here. And I don't disregard or take anything of that away from it. And I think that's also important to remember too, is that, you have to give credit for the foundations laid in place, and that's fine. And Potter's done really well for this club, and he will always be remembered as the guy that did well for this club. But I think for the short term or the medium term, we have to remember that it's not going to be the same as it was, because it can't be. And, it's this like a broken glass. You can't put it back together and be the same. You have to rebuild it, and it's going to be broken still. So you've got to wait until we then get the trust in our new man. The players start to recognise what it is. As Adam Lallana said it, you've got to trust this process. It's going to take time. But I think if Lallana and Sanchez are coming out, they're quite big figures, right? If they're coming out and saying that, I do believe them. And you can clearly see what he's trying to do. I think you've just got to give it time. It's not going to be the same. And we might drop into the bottom half. We might lose a few more games.
It looks that way, because I'm looking at this fixtures ahead, and we were talking about like where does NFFC come in. Like you said, no point in bringing him against away at City. At home against Chelsea, Danny Welbeck played well against them when we last played them, so that would be a bit strange. Hopefully, he'll be able to do the same. Yeah, that will be that will be like a cup final, because.
It will be.
Potter at the Amex, that will be insane.
Ben, I want to know,
I'm surprised
what do you
it
think
says it's still a 3
of
p.m. kickoff.
His atmosphere, Ben. What do you think for Potter? Because I put a poll on, and I'm undecided, but I think that I'm not going to be clapping. I think I don't know. What do you think?
I guess you'd applaud. I think because time's a healer, and I feel like some fans will have forgiven him now. Because
do you think? Have you?
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I have, for sure.
Have you?
Just like you said literally like a couple of minutes ago, you've got to remember what he's done for us.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the biggest positive to take out of it. So I just got to have mad respect for what he's done. Like, we wouldn't be having these conversations about having new managers or trying to get to the Europa Conference League without him. So we've got to kind of remember that. Yes, he left on bad terms, but I mean, shit happens, I guess. It was never going to end well if he left in this. Right. I guess it would have been better if he left in the summer, for example, like we all said.
Yeah.
But no, going to your question, no, I think I will probably clap or just show some respect. I'm not going to boo, for sure. Definitely not.
No, I don't think boo. I won't boo. I never boo. The only time I boo is when players stay on the ground for about 45 minutes, wasting time. That's the only time I boo.
I'll boo if he turns around to the West Stand and North Stand and goes, fucking come on. That's when the pig's heads will be flying.
I think at the end of it, if Chelsea win.
That's
disrespectful.
I hope he's more reserved. He's got to be more reserved, I think.
But
then after Chelsea, mate, then we've got Wolves away, and maybe that's the time you throw him in. But again, are you just throwing him because he needs an opportunity?
Or
would that be throwing him in because
they haven't got a new man yet?
You'd have to throw him in for a reason, not just to give him a chance, I guess. It'd have to be for Danny Welbeck playing that poorly. But But again, it's the Premier League. It's not like a friendly where you can just swap it around and
mate, it's the pressure at the minute, isn't it? That's what the problem is. You talk about Wolves, for example, prime example. They've got rid of Bruno Lage. They're on a horrible run, and managers are used to coming in when the squad's low, the players are low, their fans are low, and everyone's low. And then you've got this new manager bounce. It's like, okay, everyone's happy again. We've got a new man. We get excited. Whereas we've gone from a real high to a low. So it's hard to. It's hard to go from a high low and then get it back high again because people will always compare it to the high before. So it's never going to be as good. It's like FCA's last year, prime example again. Win FCA, lose the whole account. Regardless of whether I started again, I'm still going to think, but I won an FCA and I also had 80,000 followers. Even if I get 15,000 followers, it's not enough. Mm-hmm. So that's how it is, right? It's
always going to compare.
You've got that. It's like Bitcoin, yeah? So you've got this at the minute and we're now here. So even if we did really well here, you're still going to compare that. So I think that's what fans are hard to get their head around. It's the fact that we're not here anymore. We're here. And even if we're there, it's not as good as that. So it's almost like you've got to forget that and just think about this, and then
think about the Zerbi. And I still think we're on track. Like you said, imagine if we weren't playing well and we were getting these results. So that would be even worse. Like you got to remember that we are still playing well and we're creating opportunities. Like we said 2 years ago. Just go back to your mindset of what you were 2 seasons ago under Potter, and just implement that again because that's basically what we got to do. We've kind of gone back in time.
6 good months, right? 6 good months.
We will get back there. But going after that, then we've got Arsenal in the cup, which is fine. Maybe Endeavour will get a free hit there.
Yeah.
And then our last game before the World Cup is at home to Villa.
Interesting.
So
they could have Pochettino by then.
We could have a couple good results if we start playing well. But we've got City and Chelsea next. Those are going to be some tough games.
Let's ask them.
I'm dreading Twitter during those 2 games. I'm dreading Twitter.
I think I'm dreading.
Realistically, they're probably not going to be good results.
No, and I think I'm dreading
negative
Chelsea more than City, just because it's Potter and that. I think if we obviously
City's Chelsea, fine. Everyone loses against City. Doesn't matter. You can't have a go unless we get battered like 8-0. Then it's a bit embarrassing. But
if it's like 7 or 8, then
we never do against City.
Start wondering, but I think if we lose 2 or 3, I can live with that, especially against Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne to Erling Haaland is a modern day cheat code, right? So I'm scared about that, if I'm honest. But I'm just going to treat it as a day out. It's my last of the top 6 to do. So
you get to see Haaland, which would be quite cool. Did you? I don't know if you saw, but
go on.
Paul Merson, he said if Erling Haaland was in League 2 and wasn't getting the balls delivered to him on a sixpence, he wouldn't score 60 goals.
That's crazy.
He said he wouldn't score anywhere near 60 goals.
If he was in League 2, he'd be scoring about, 80 goals by
120.
January.
Yeah. Then someone replied to it with a screenshot of one of his goals he scored against Dortmund, when his legs up in the air. Like a karate kid. It's and then he put on a sixpence. So that was quite funny. But, I mean, the Paul Mercer, I love him, but that is an awful take. He would bang. He's got pace, he's got strength. I think he's got a little bit of skill on him.
As a modern day number 9. I think
he could do it in League 2. But I don't know what Paul Merson's talking about.
If we could do it in the Premier League, why couldn't they do it in League 2? I mean, I don't even know. That's a wild take.
Speaking of smoking, and another wild take, did you see that clip of that? I think you did see the clip of that guy who was like, Danny Welbeck's a better footballer than Mo Salah.
Oh, yeah, with Terry.
Was that who it is?
Terry, the one that who did... Oh, no, it was... I did that a while ago, to be fair. But top guy, to be fair. I like Terry.
Can you explain? Because I only remember him saying that Salah bit. What else did he say?
He said that Welbeck's a better overall footballer than Salah. With full confidence as well. And said that, he's a better footballer all round. Salah's comforted in a Liverpool
If Welbeck
side.
had pace like Salah, then I can see it.
Listen, Danny, if you're listening, Danny, right, we do love you, but even you will admit, are you better than Salah? I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Sit on the naughty step with Paul Mercer with that take.
So there's some mad takes out there. I think that also Paul Merson said a few years ago, not to dig Paul Merson now, I respect him for everything he's been through, but he said also with Kevin De Bruyne, he said 50 million on this lad, he can't see it, doesn't understand it. Obviously, inevitably come back to be one of the greatest midfielders in Premier League history. So
that's good.
Yeah, not the best takes, but yeah.
And then another
City,
awful take is obviously Chelsea Rory, which is kind of relative because we're going to talk about City as well. But obviously he said that Haaland wasn't going to get more. He said that if Haaland got 15 goals, then it would be a good season.
He's already broken that, hasn't he? Is he on 15 or 16?
I think he's on 18 already. Well, 18 for 2022, 18 for this season.
All comps.
In all comps, which is crazy figures.
Honestly,
let's talk about it. We're going to face it.
Haaland? Yeah, what do you think? Against us, right? It's mad to even say this now because
Lewis Dunk versus Sterling Haaland.
I relate him to being like the best player in the world, right? Him and Mbappe, best players in the world, as in the debates, Lewandowski and there was Benzema as well. But I mean, the current young up and coming best players in the world, as long as Mbappe keeps his head straight, it's them two. Yeah, they're the new Messi and Ronaldo. My point is, he's playing against Brighton in his young upcoming time. Yeah, and that's mad to say because
this isn't even his prime.
No, we're like 5 years off his prime. Probably even 8 years off his prime, and that's mad. So yeah, what do you think about Erling Haaland against Brighton? Do you think he will have as much joy as we think, or can we stop him?
I'm just thinking, do I triple captain him? No, I'm not going to do that. Do we stop him? I'm trying to think back to times where we've played against unbelievable strikers like that. When we faced Aguero,
Liverpool and Bournemouth.
Yeah, and we're also from the south coast, like Bournemouth, so hopefully we can do the
same.
There
you go. That's the reason then, right?
He is human after all. Like we forget that Haaland is human and he can have off days. Whether he has one against us, because I don't think he's going to have back-to-back blanks, is he? Let's be honest. Like a blank against Liverpool, he's not going to have another blank after that.
I would think not.
He will score. I'll be surprised if he didn't. But yeah, Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster, Joel Veltman, they've got a very tough game on their hands because I know they lost to Liverpool, of course, but Liverpool will bang up for that.
Yeah.
But City are incredible. One of the best teams in football history, I think.
Should be winning the Champions League this year, I think.
Should be. If the Yaya Toure curse isn't still going.
Yeah, their team is just, in my opinion, the best in the world. Like, the best in the world. I think that team, in balance perspective, I've even seen like graphs of the most nerdy stats you can think of, and it's just perfect the way that they are. They are, like, I think there's one of their passing, like, structure, and like at most is like red and orange links, almost like chemistry on FIFA. But Cities is green, in like perfect diagonals, and you just think
they're a machine.
They are actually a machine, and Pep Guardiola is a machine. And fair enough, you can say what you want about Pep, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a very, very, very tough game for Zerbi.
We'll be lucky to score a goal, I think. But just like we said at the top of this episode, the fact they've only conceded 70. Oh shit, where's it gone? What is it? They've only conceded 69 shots this season. So like, if we can get a couple on, I mean, like we did against. Well, in the last 3 games, we've had 54 shots. It'll be good if we can get a few against City, let alone 54 or whatever it was against. I think it was at 24 against Forest, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you shut up shop then, Ben, for this game, or do you try and play for a draw?
Well,
do you try
the Brighton of old don't, do they? The Brighton of old go against every big team. So I feel like Zerbi will probably be the same. Zerbi said it the same though. I think Zerbi's similar, and we'll have a go. He will have a go.
I think we've almost got to remember this City team is even better than it was. You know, it's not even like, 2017 City, right? I always think of as like the upcoming great. And then they sort of went to like 19 and they were just absolutely untouchable. And then 2020 to 21, I think. Yeah, 20 to 21, they sort of were like, I thought maybe they are falling off and maybe it is Liverpool's time. But then they just have come back even stronger somehow and are now bigger and better than ever. And Erling Haaland up front is literally the missing piece in that team. They are set with Foden and Haaland for the next decade with world-class talent. So they are literally, the best team in the world in my book. So to be honest with you, mate, getting anything out of that game, a draw would be absolutely amazing.
A draw would be incredible. But you're going to see Erling Haaland, which is not many people can say at the moment. Should we do score predictions? God, which was going to be tough anyway. I'll start.
Okay.
I think it will be, because they can concede, and to be optimistic, I reckon it'll be 4-1 to Man City.
4-1. I don't like doing this, you know.
It's horrible. I thought about it before we recorded. I was like, I can't believe we're going to have to do a score prediction and say we're going to get battered.
As I said earlier, like, this is genuinely one of my favourite Brighton teams. I think, as in like the players' personnel, I feel like I like this team. Like one of the most I've ever liked a Brighton team. I really like them as individuals. They all seem like good lads, right? And I hate predicting that we're going to lose. I just hate that. So, but we are against, as I said before, the best team in the world and probably one of the best teams of the last decade, century. So I'm probably going to say, yeah, I'm going to be optimistic and say 2-0 loss. That I'll be happy with that, which sounds horrible.
It is just. I've said it already. The word.
It's a free
City's
hit,
a free hit. Yeah, it's a free hit. But yeah, I don't think there's any more to say on City. I don't want to make their ego grow anymore because they're already.
Pep's listening to this, like.
Yeah, thank you, boys. Thank you, boys.
Yes, more than you.
Yeah, if Zerbi can do anything in that game, it'll be incredible.
Just to play some decent football. If we play good football and lose 2-0, fine. As long as we've given it a go, I don't want us to just look rubbish. You know, if we go there and just look like Championship, which we won't, then you're just like.
I don't want to get embarrassed. I think that's the key word.
That's the key word. That's the one. Yeah, embarrassing.
No one wants to be embarrassed.
I think anything that's respectable, I'll take. A 2-0 respectable loss, fine. It's the day out. I even think a
3-0 was respectable at home, away at City. Sorry, I think that's still respectable.
Yeah. Mate, do you know what? I get to finally say, because I haven't been to the Etihad, as I said, it's my first time, but I get to finally see, because I feel like, I don't know if it's just me, I think City fans are genuinely pretty underrated. I think that they actually are. They're louder than we give credit for. I think they are. They're actually like their away support is good. Like every time they've come to Amex, I've been pretty impressed. So maybe
because that's when the diehards go. The diehard City fans go to all the away games, and they are good. Same with a lot of clubs. To be fair, any away support is usually decent. Yeah. Obviously, some people are a bit poor, but Forest fans are quite good. I'll give that to them.
Yeah, Forest fans are loud. To be fair, for a Tuesday night, pretty good turnout. I'll give them that.
What's the classic? What they got mean though, didn't they? When they lost 4-0 or something to Leicester, it was like non-stop singing, and there was a picture of the Forest fans in the Leicester Stadium. It's like non-stop singing 90+3, non-stop singing 90+4.
Yeah, saw that.
So good.
Yeah, funny. It's funny. But yeah, we'll see, mate. Leicester being 4-0, we couldn't get a goal. Mad.
Dr. Brighton
really came in for it. But let's just put it this way, to round it all off, let's get behind Zerbi. I really don't want to see any more stupid opinions on Zerbi. If you are listening to this and you've got even an ounce of doubt in your mind, just stop going on Twitter and spreading it, because it's just not helping. And I don't know why people think that putting out this stupid negativity is going to help anything. Fair enough, voice your opinion, but if it's something that's just completely irrelevant, that's just going to bring everyone down, what's the point? I had loads of people. I never got this much abuse on Twitter since ages.
What did you say?
Got on my Twitter, nothing. People were just somehow taken out of me, and I was I was there I haven't said anything outrageous. People were saying I talk rubbish. I think it's because I said I didn't like the light show, which, by the way, I didn't like the light show. I thought it was embarrassing. It was rubbish. Right. It was so tacky. It was so Premier League, prestige Premier League thing. I didn't like it. I don't care. People, if you liked it, you liked it, right? Just because I put it on Twitter and say I liked it, and didn't like it, doesn't mean that everyone has to agree or disagree with me. I'm just saying what I think. If anyone else put it on, then they're just going to ignore the tweet.
What did you like about it, though? You said you think it was tacky.
I thought it was cringe. I thought it was cringy. I didn't like it. At least if we're going to do a light show, at least make it colourful or something. Put some blue and white with it.
With decent music as well.
At least Palace did the red and blue. At least they tried. I still didn't like it at all, and neither did the Palace fans. And I called it out at the time saying it was cringe, and I hope they never do something like that. And you can even look through Twitter if you want. But at least when you look back on it, it's better than ours. Ours were just turning the lights on and off for a bit, and it wasn't even to the beat. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan. If you're gonna do it, try it a bit better than that. I think if you really want to generate an atmosphere, I wouldn't say light shows.
I guess that's what they were trying to do, wasn't it? They were trying to generate atmosphere.
Everyone around me was just looking at it what is this?
The only thing that did work is that people were in their seats earlier than they normally are, because obviously people just...
Yeah, I like the Enoch Wepu thing in the middle of the centre circle, by the way. That was nice. That was a good touch.
That was cool. Yeah,
that was a good touch. Yeah, we always do good tributes. It's a shame we haven't actually won for him yet. Maybe City's the day where we change everything. You never know. A City away win would... Well, Palace do it often enough, to be fair. They're like their
Welbeck, if Palace can do it, we can do it.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
Exactly.
Right, let's wrap up.
Let's go.
If you have listened, which you probably are because you're hearing my voice right now, thank you very much. On Apple, Spotify, you can follow us, subscribe to us. Subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Comment below will be...
We can't score.
Yeah. Just say we can't score. That's classic.
Is it wrong? No, we can't score.
No, that's true. So comment below, say we can't score.
That's one thing.
Ryan, thank you for joining. Yeah, no, that's true. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoy City. And we don't get embarrassed, otherwise that will be painful.
Yeah.
And if you are also going, enjoy it, but enjoy it with discipline.
Say hello and shout the pod in real life. I will take all of the...
Chance Seagulls Social.
We're attention seeking, boys. We need some attention.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah. All right. Thank you all for listening, guys.
Yes. Peace.